The bright morning sun reflected off the polished windows of the luxury dealership as Rowan Mercer stood frozen beside a gleaming black SUV, his cleaning bucket trembling in his hands. He was only 18 minutes late, but those 18 minutes seemed to destroy everything he had spent months trying to rebuild. The wealthy owner stepped out wearing an elegant cream-colored suit, looked at the dusty fingerprint still lingering across the driver's door, and quietly told him that apologies would never be enough. If he wanted her forgiveness, he would have to earn it. Rowan believed he was about to lose the only job keeping his family together, never imagining that one difficult day would completely change both their lives. If you believe kindness, forgiveness, hope, and second chances can change a person's future, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, and subscribe to our channel to join our community for more heartfelt stories. Rowan Mercer had never imagined his life would revolve around soap, towels, and pressure washers. Just 2 years earlier he had dreamed of attending college to study engineering, but life had chosen another direction. After his father suffered a devastating spinal injury at a construction site, every plan collapsed. Medical bills consumed the family's savings. His mother worked endless hours at a grocery store while Rowan abandoned school to take any honest work he could find. Cleaning luxury vehicles at an exclusive detailing company became more than a paycheck. It became the reason the lights stayed on in their small apartment. His manager often reminded every employee that wealthy clients expected perfection, not excuses. Every appointment mattered. Every minute counted. Rowan lived by that rule because he knew one mistake could cost him everything. That particular morning had started beautifully. Sunlight poured across the city, birds sang from the trees, and Rowan left home earlier than usual, hoping to impress his manager by arriving ahead of schedule. Then everything changed only a few miles from work. As he crossed a neighborhood street, he noticed an elderly man collapse beside a public bench. Several people slowed down, stared for a moment, then hurried away, unwilling to become involved. Rowan did not hesitate. He rushed over, called emergency services, stayed beside the frightened man, and kept him calm until paramedics arrived. The entire situation lasted less than 20 minutes, but those 20 minutes meant Rowan arrived late for the most important appointment of the week. The client was a successful businesswoman named Celeste Whitmore. She owned several companies, supported local charities, and possessed a reputation for expecting absolute professionalism. Employees whispered stories about impossible standards and unforgiving expectations. When Rowan finally reached the elegant estate where the detailing service had been scheduled, his heart pounded louder with every step. The black SUV sat waiting beneath the clear afternoon sky, already collecting fine layers of pollen carried by the breeze. Before Rowan could even unpack his equipment, Celeste walked toward him with calm, measured steps. She did not shout. She did not insult him. Instead, she looked directly into his eyes with quiet disappointment. She explained that punctuality reflected character. She said people often believed wealthy individuals demanded perfection because they lacked compassion, but in reality they simply valued commitments. Then she told Rowan something he would never forget. She said he would have to earn her forgiveness. Those words felt heavier than any punishment. Rowan lowered his head and accepted responsibility. He never mentioned the elderly man. He never searched for sympathy. He simply apologized and promised to complete the finest detail job she had ever seen. For nearly 5 hours he worked beneath the warm afternoon sun. He cleaned every wheel until it reflected the blue sky. He polished every window until it became almost invisible. He vacuumed every corner with patient precision. He conditioned the leather seats, restored the dashboard, treated the tires, and inspected every inch of the vehicle repeatedly. Sweat soaked through his shirt, but he refused to rush. When he finally finished, the SUV looked even better than the day it had been purchased. Celeste slowly walked around the vehicle, carefully examining every detail. She nodded with quiet approval, yet her expression remained difficult to read. She paid the invoice without saying much and disappeared into the house. Rowan assumed the day was over. It wasn't. As he packed away his equipment, an older housekeeper hurried outside carrying a bottle of cold water and thanked him for helping an elderly gentleman that morning. Rowan froze. The housekeeper smiled gently and explained that the man Rowan had helped was Celeste's father. He had insisted on telling everyone how a young stranger stayed beside him while others walked away. Rowan's stomach tightened. If Celeste already knew, why had she still spoken so harshly? The answer arrived moments later. Celeste returned carrying 2 folding chairs. She invited Rowan to sit beneath a large oak tree overlooking the driveway. For the first time that day, she smiled. She admitted she had recognized him immediately from the security footage shared by emergency responders. She knew exactly why he had been late before he even arrived. Rowan looked confused. She explained that many people performed good deeds only when they expected recognition. She wanted to discover whether Rowan would use his kindness as an excuse or simply accept responsibility for arriving late. He had chosen responsibility. He never defended himself. He never blamed circumstances. He accepted the consequences with humility. That, she explained, was how he earned her forgiveness. Rowan felt tears forming as months of anxiety poured out of him. He confessed how terrified he had been of losing his job because his family depended on every paycheck. Celeste listened without interrupting. She then surprised him again. Instead of ending the conversation, she asked about his life. Rowan described his father's injury, his mother's exhausting work schedule, and the engineering textbooks he still kept beside his bed even though he no longer attended school. Every evening he spent an hour reading because he refused to let his dream completely disappear. Celeste quietly asked what had inspired engineering. Rowan explained that he loved solving problems. He wanted to design safer construction equipment so fewer families would experience tragedies like his own. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Finally, Celeste admitted that her own success had begun with someone who believed in her when she had nothing. Decades earlier she had been raised by a single mother who cleaned office buildings during the day. A scholarship funded by a stranger had transformed her future. She had spent years trying to repay that kindness. Perhaps, she said, this was another opportunity. Over the following weeks, Rowan continued detailing vehicles, believing their conversation had simply been a meaningful memory. Then one afternoon his manager called him into the office. Instead of criticism, he found a thick envelope waiting on the desk. Inside was a scholarship covering tuition at a nearby engineering college, flexible employment that allowed him to continue earning income while studying, and an internship at one of Celeste's manufacturing companies after graduation. Rowan stared at the documents, convinced there had been a mistake. There wasn't. Attached was a handwritten letter. It explained that forgiveness is not merely accepting someone's apology. True forgiveness sometimes means helping another person become who they were always capable of becoming. The letter ended with a simple sentence. You earned this before you ever knew anyone was watching. Life slowly began changing. Rowan attended classes during the day and continued working weekends. The schedule was exhausting, but every difficult assignment reminded him why he refused to give up. His father gradually regained enough strength to walk short distances with assistance. Watching his son pursue education again restored something even doctors could not measure: hope. His mother cried the first time she saw Rowan wearing a university backpack instead of carrying buckets and cleaning supplies every morning. Years passed beneath countless sunny skies. Rowan graduated near the top of his class. His internship became a full-time engineering position. Eventually he helped design improved safety systems for heavy construction equipment, reducing workplace injuries across multiple sites. The achievement brought recognition throughout the industry, but Rowan never forgot where his journey had truly changed. One warm afternoon, he visited the same neighborhood where he had once stopped to help an elderly stranger. The public bench remained beneath the trees. Children laughed nearby while families enjoyed the sunshine. He quietly sat there reflecting on the ordinary decision that had redirected his entire future. Soon another familiar figure approached. Celeste, now slightly older but carrying the same quiet confidence, joined him. Neither of them spoke for several moments. Sometimes gratitude required no words. She eventually admitted something she had never shared before. On the day Rowan arrived late, several executives had recommended canceling the detailing contract and requesting another employee. She refused because she wanted to meet the young man who had helped her father. Her statement about earning forgiveness had never been intended as cruelty. It had been a test of character. She wanted to know whether kindness remained genuine when no reward seemed possible. Rowan smiled. He admitted that, at the time, he had believed life was punishing him for trying to help someone. Instead, life had quietly been opening a door. The greatest lesson neither of them expected was that forgiveness often travels in two directions. Rowan believed he had earned Celeste's forgiveness, but in reality she had also found healing through trusting another person again. Years of business disappointments had made her suspicious of almost everyone. Rowan reminded her that integrity still existed in ordinary people. Their friendship continued long after contracts, scholarships, and careers became distant memories. Together they created a foundation supporting students forced to leave school because of family emergencies. Hundreds of young people eventually received opportunities that once seemed impossible. Every scholarship letter included the same anonymous message. Someone believed in you. Now believe in yourself. Many recipients never learned the full story behind those words, but they carried hope into families who desperately needed it. On one beautiful afternoon during the Foundation's annual gathering, Rowan watched dozens of students laughing with parents whose faces reflected relief instead of worry. He realized success was never measured by the size of a paycheck or the shine of a luxury vehicle. It was measured by how many lives became brighter because someone chose compassion over convenience. Before we reach the end of this story, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a meaningful comment sharing whether you believe one small act of kindness can completely change a person's future, or tell us about a moment when someone gave you a second chance that you never forgot. As the afternoon sun bathed the gathering in warm golden light, Rowan looked across the smiling faces surrounding him and remembered the frightened young man who believed 18 late minutes had ruined his life forever. Instead, those 18 minutes had revealed his true character. A clean SUV had never been the real test. The real test had been choosing compassion before responsibility, humility before excuses, and gratitude before pride. Those choices became the foundation of a future far greater than he had ever imagined. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a meaningful comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel so you never miss another emotional journey. Remember that the smallest act of kindness may be the beginning of someone else's greatest miracle, and sometimes the forgiveness we think we must earn becomes the very gift that changes our lives forever.